Hi all, nice to meet you today, and during this webinar we will be talking with you about specifics of collaboration with stakeholders in a product company. Before we start, let's just get acquainted. Please drop a couple of messages, where are you from and your position, so we can better understand who visited our webinar. While you are posting your comments, just a couple of words about myself. So I worked as a B2B product manager. I launched several products from scratch and killed several of them. I have startup experience, and I prefer to validate something before developing it. That is why, let's say, I'm the evidence-focused person here. So just don't be shy. Please drop messages where I'm from and your position. And before we continue with the webinar, I just want you to join our business analyst community in Telegram. There is a link or our analyst hub at LinkedIn. If you are passionate about business analysis, or you want to start your journey with it, it's a very excellent sources of information where you can find about business analysis tools and techniques, how to manage requirements, and how to move towards the way of working with requirements and what challenges you may encounter. So don't be afraid. Use these links to join our community on the Analyst Hub at LinkedIn, and you will start joining useful information about business analysis. So, getting back to our webinar, it's not a secret that the biggest thing that impacts the performance of a successful product company is the quality and effectiveness of its communication and collaboration. That is why within this webinar, I want to talk with you about stakeholders and their types, different techniques, how to collaborate with different stakeholder groups, and typical collaboration issues which you may encounter in a product company. So, starting with our stakeholders, we can divide them into two groups. So, in a typical product company, you will have internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. When we talk about internal stakeholders, that can be some individuals, teams, or departments who are involved in the development of the product, creation of strategy, and its execution. If we talk about external stakeholders, it can be as well individuals or some entities or organizations that impact the development of your product, or who are using your product, or who are impacted by your product. If we take a look at internal stakeholders, we can divide them into several groups or categories. Here they are. One of them is business executives. The next one is sales team. You can also have customer success team, operations team, and engineering team. Switching to external stakeholders, you may have users, customers, and partners. So, what are the ways how you can collaborate with these different stakeholder groups? So let's just see in the next section. I want to start with internal stakeholders, and the first group is business executives. So in many situations, these are some sort of senior leaders who define the company vision, they allocate resources, and oversee strategic direction for the whole company or for specific products. They also prioritize measurable impact and long-term growth. If we will be talking about the traits and characteristics, most of them will be considering themselves as visionaries because they understand the market, they understand what the market needs, but sometimes they may be biased a bit because the market is an evolving organism, and it depends that business executives are following on its trends. They are also very goal-oriented people who want to achieve something and not just do something. That is why you as a business analyst, product manager, or product owner should consider it, that if you want to initiate some initiative, it should meet the goals of the organization or the goals which business executives have. And these people are also strategic decision makers, so they understand how the company should evolve, how product should evolve, what they want to achieve at the end, and what, let's say, metrics or revenue they want to get at the end of some initiative. If we talk about examples of such roles, they usually CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, CTO, Chief Technical Officer, VP, like vice presidents of different departments, and directors. If we talk about ways of collaboration with them, there are several do's and don'ts which you should follow. So first of all, it's the alignment of product initiatives with business goals. If you come with some initiative which business executives are not interested in, with 100% surety, I can say that this initiative will be rejected. So if you want to build something, if you want to do something, you should align it with business goals and ensure that this initiative will help the organization to meet business goals. Also, what you should consider when working with business executives, you should provide data-driven insights and regular updates on progress. Why it is necessary? Because they like to trace the progress. If they do not see the progress from your initiative, they using their strategic visions, they can terminate this initiative or shift it to a bit different time period if needed. And of course, it's vital for you to speak in terms of outcomes and KPIs. So if you come and say, I want to start this initiative without giving them examples of metrics or KPIs which you want to achieve, the success, you will not get a positive decision regarding this initiative. So be quite careful with that. When working with them, you should also be prepared to answer their questions, and these questions will be related to different metrics, what you want to achieve, why you want to achieve. That's why be very careful when coming to them and try to think from the perspective of a business owner when you come to some initiative. And of course, you should demonstrate the strategic value of these product decisions. That's why you as a business owner, as a business analyst or product manager should consider it. One more thing when working with business executives, they don't like complex things. They will not be reviewing different diagrams, presentations for 100 slides or something like that. Use some simple visualization tools just to show the idea of what you want to achieve and provide some sort of evidence why you think it is feasible, and provide the understanding of what metrics will be impacted by this or that initiative. And of course, do not give them a lot of details about technical implementation. Try to decompose something into smaller parts and provide these parts one by one, so you can have regular updates and where you can provide progress on each step or stage of the initiatives that you're working on. What else you should avoid? Avoid bringing initiatives that are not mapped to business objectives, and do not overpromise when you're not sure about the delivery or that you will be able to properly execute some things. And of course, do not avoid regular communication and updates on progress, because when you provide them with regular updates on progress, they can help you to correct the direction of your initiative if they consider some problems or they see some challenges in its execution, or they can just pause it until better times. The next segment is sales team. Usually these are professionals who acquire and retain customers, and they, of course, bridge the gap between the product capabilities and market needs. When we talk about their traits and characteristics, one of them, they can persuade people to buy your product. They understand the psychology of customers, understand why they need, they can provide explanation why they need, and that is why they can help you to sell your product. In case of B2C, you may not have a sales team, but in case of B2B, a sales team usually is a must-have, and these people help your customers to acquire your product, and they help your product team to sell your product to these customers. They're also customer focused, so they are very passionate about customer needs, and they're very especially passionate about needs of leads who want to buy a product but who have some objections. So they will do their best to sell this product and get what this lead or customer wants. And they're also results driven. That's why they focus on the revenue and profits from each deal, because let's say their earnings depend on that. They're also very highly competitive, so they like to contest, they like challenges, and they will do their best to win any deal. That's why they will not stop, and they will try to persuade, they will try to make the customer make a deal, and that's why they are also object solving. So they have very excellent communication skills to work with customers who have some sort of doubts, and they can work towards these objections and answer their questions. If we talk about examples of such roles, it can be VP of sales who make more strategic decisions, sales managers, account managers, and sales executives. Talking about the collaboration techniques, it's vital to mention that you, as a product manager or business analyst, should share product updates and provide comparison of features with competitors. You can also provide different sales enablement materials like use cases, FAQs, different workarounds, helping documentation. You can also help them with different marketing materials, because the more, let's say, documentation you can provide with them, the easier for them it will be to sell and to work with objections coming from customers or potential leads. When working with the sales team, don't forget to establish feedback loops to gather different sorts of customer insights, which you can also share with them, and they can also share with you additional customer insights from the field. And while reviewing feedback from them, you must align your product roadmaps with market needs, because the sales team, they communicate a lot with leads. They see their potential problems, they see their potential pain points, and they understand how the product can address these pain points. But in some situations, they may have a bit of biased view. That's why you should be very careful with that and ensure that they are not confusing something, and the actual market situation is really how they describe it to you. Because in a great number of situations, they are focused on closing the deal rather than selling your product to a larger audience, because they get their revenue from a deal. But you, as a product manager or business analyst, should focus on the product success. You should also celebrate their wins, their deals, and don't forget to provide product training and ongoing support when they need, when you see that they do not fully understand how your product operates, what benefits it has, what advantages and disadvantages. So that's why provide regular training to them and help them to master your product, so they can understand the context in which your product operates and how it can help them. Also, as a product manager or business analyst, you can also participate in sales calls. It's not necessary to come to each sales call, but it's good to participate just in a small portion of them to ensure that the sales team can properly describe what your product is doing and what benefits it has. And in this situation, you can also understand what training the sales team needs and how you can organize this training. When working with the sales team, avoid several things. One of them, do not provide delayed responses, because for the sales team, time is money. And when you delay answers, they will be losing their deals and they will be not very happy with that. Also, do not deprioritize field feedback without providing the explanation why. Because in some situations, you may have the product strategy, you may have the already agreed product roadmap, and you may face a situation when you say, unfortunately, sales team, we can't implement that in the nearest quarter. So we will schedule it and do. So provide them with explanation and timelines so they can properly communicate this information to their leads or potential customers and manage their expectations as well. Also, do not ignore their insights on competitive trends. And if they tell you that there is a new competitor in the market, so don't skip this information and go and check what competitors they mentioned and what advantages they provide in comparison to your product. Also, when working with a sales team, don't forget to mention different product limitations that you have. Unfortunately, any product has its drawbacks. That's why the sales team should fully understand these drawbacks. And you as a product manager, business analyst should be able to educate them. And of course, do not overpromise delivery of features, especially when they request something within tight timelines. Don't promise that you will deliver it. Provide explanation when you can do it, and so that they can also manage expectations of leads and potential customers. The next group includes customer success team. They usually advocate for customer satisfaction, retention, and long-term success. So they help your users to master your product, and they help product team to sell the product based on the quick engagement and when users start receiving value from your product. About their traits and characteristics, I can say that they are very empathetic, so they communicate a lot with users. They have a lot of different support sessions. They explore how users are using your product, and they understand all the pain points which they encounter. And in this situation, they will do their best to resolve these issues. Sometimes they can do a lot of, they can bring a lot of unnecessary things to your scope, and you as a product manager, business analyst should be able to handle it without sacrificing, in general, the product roadmap and product goals. They're also solution focused. So when they see a problem, they will come to you with a solution. So here you should be able to sort out the solution and problem. So focus more on problems rather than solutions, because different customers and different members of customer success team may bring different solutions to the same problem. You as a business analyst or product manager should see the problem itself and root causes of this problem. They're also very proactive, so as they communicate a lot with users, they need to do a lot of things. They have different switches on context. That's why they should be very proactive, and they should do their best to help your users or customers to master a product. And they're also strong communicators, so that they should feel people. They should feel pain points coming from users. And in a great number of situations, they can explain you what real users need, but again, be very careful with their feedback, as sometimes they may have a biased understanding, and they will bring you only the problems, bugs, and issues that your users or customers encounter within your product, and it can greatly affect the roadmap, your product roadmap, and features that you plan to deliver. If we're talking about the examples of such roles, I can mention customer success manager, customer onboarding specialist, support engineers, renewals specialist, training and education specialist. In some situations or in small companies, you may have only support engineers that are working in different levels, and but in general, a lot of product companies tend to have the customer success team. So it's not only just support engineers, it's more like people who help users to master the product and get the value from this product. Talking about do's and don'ts, first of all, when you work with a customer success team, you should collaborate on resolving users' pain points. There will be a lot of issues they will bring to you. So working with them, you should segment, you should classify, you should prioritize these issues, and the most critical ones you should address in the nearest time. And for the rest one, you should provide your customer success team with some timelines so they can understand and explain this information to your users. Also, you should perform regular review of their feedback to improve the product, because besides under the problems and under the pain points that they bring to you, you may see great capabilities for growing your product or for adding the value within your product. The next point, gives them all the resources to address customer concerns. I'll help them to find effective ways to work with the product or different workarounds if some feature is missing. Also, don't forget to share product updates that impact customer experience, because for customer success team, it's necessary to inform some users when you introduce, for example, some UI updates that may radically change the experience, and the customer success team will have to perform some preliminary education on these changes, so your users or customers will be fully satisfied with your product after the release. Also, don't forget to show appreciation of their work, that they take part in customer retention, and provide on-time product training to them as well as with the sales team. When working with the customer success team and sales team, you should be quite careful, because these people can bring you a lot of new features when talking about the sales team, and a lot of different bugs and issues if you're talking about the customer success team. So you as a product manager, you should keep an eye on these scopes, but you should not forget about the product features that you plan to deliver in accordance with your product strategy and your product roadmaps. So it's good when you will have some sort of buckets for different issues which you can fix, and for features that make deals impossible. But the largest bucket will still be for your product roadmaps that you already have in mind. Talking about don'ts with customer success team, you should not avoid customer complaints that they bring to you. We all understand that fixing bugs is not a very pleasant moment in the software development, but still you should focus on the things and address them as fast as possible, or at least allocate some resources who can do it. Don't forget to communicate different changes that affect users, so customer success team can do some things in advance just to refine the experience of users who may be affected by these changes, and provide them with some sort of guidance on how to do in this or that use case. Also, don't undervalue their input on user needs. They also like appreciation of what they do, and do not delay responses to escalation. So if your product has some critical issue, try to fix it as soon as possible, so customer success team will not be answering an avalanche of different support requests coming to your help desk. And don't forget to share different critical updates affecting customers, especially if you remove some features, because some customers or users may be heavily using them, and such removal of features may have a very negative impact. So customer success team should perform some preparation work on with these customers and users, so it will be not a panic for your end users. The next group is operations team. When we talk about them, it's usually a subset of professionals who work on internal processes within the company and maintain infrastructure. They also focus on efficiency, risk management, and compliance. When we talk about the traits and characteristics, it's efficiency driven, so they try to do everything as fast as possible and effective as possible. They are also process oriented, so they are focused more on processes rather than results of these processes. They will try to avoid risk in any situation, so they may impose additional requirements on your product, especially when we talk about the compliance team. And they're also detail oriented, so they get used, that the process should be should run smoothly without any obstacles or impediments on its way. If we talk about the examples, it can be operation manager, supply chain manager, operations analyst, finance and procurement specialist, customer operations specialist, or compliance officer. When talking about those with operations team, you should align on process automation and scalability goals. Usually these people, they may not think out of the box, and you should help them to do this. In some situations, they may have a lot of different manual routine operations, which they consider as a norm for them. But in cases, if you're working on some internal product for the operations team, you should help them to understand that this can be fully automated, and you can help them with that. Also, don't forget to communicate changes that impact the standard workflows, so they can give their feedback on these changes, and you can align on the common understanding of what they expect to get from you. Also, collaborate with them a lot to optimize internal processes to increase their effectiveness, and try to automate as much as possible. So operations team will be focusing more on the monitoring of the processes rather than doing a lot of routine operations. And of course, don't forget to include them into discussions about operational risks, especially if your product, if you're working on some internal products. And don't forget to include compliance when you deal a lot with customer or user data, so these people can help you to scope requirements for compliance. Talking about don'ts, don't make some radical changes within their workflows and operations without initial alignment with them. Also, don't forget to consult with them on system and process risks. They can give you a lot of different useful information which you can consider for your product. And also don't skip following on the operational feedback, because when you introduce some changes within the workflows or processes, they may see additional ways how you can automate or simplify them. That is why have constant feedback sharing sessions with them. And the last group within internal stakeholders is the engineering team. Usually this team includes technical experts who build and maintain the product, and they ensure its feasibility, scalability, and reliability for solutions that you build using your products. Talking about the traits and characteristics, they are very detail-oriented. So they focus a lot on different use cases, on different edge cases. That is why you as a business analyst or product manager should be prepared for this, and you should have answers to this information, or at least admit that you do not know, but you will try to figure out it in the nearest future. They also like to solve problems. That is why it's better for you not to bring solutions to them, but to bring problems, so they can ideate on them and propose solutions to these problems. They like to participate in brainstorming. They also like to work on solutions that are subject to different technical challenges or constraints. And also don't forget they are very pragmatic and tech-savvy, so they will do their best to deliver a cheap and fast solution to the problem, so you can involve them in the early stages of ideation. Talking about examples of such stakeholders, can be developers, architects, security engineers, QA engineers, and data and product analysts. In most situations, you will actively work with developers and architects. If you're working on the security product, security engineers will be helping you, and QA engineers and data and product analysts can provide you with additional insights on the product metrics or on the product quality. Talking about do's and don'ts, first of all, don't forget to involve them into the ideation and planning phases. First of all, they can help you to scope the solution to the problem, and they will help you to decompose the solution into implementation stages, so you can get some sort of a plan before doing anything. You can also not even can, you must bring clear and actionable requirements to them. So if you do not have precise requirements for some product, bring at least to them the problem and the context in which this problem appears. So they can start asking you questions and you will be able to answer them, or just work together with users, customer sales, or customer success team on clarifying these requirements and providing something more precise to them. Also, working with them, don't forget about use cases, because when you develop a solution, it's very good to understand use cases for the problems. And without this information, they will not be very satisfied that you as a business analyst or product manager doesn't know it. The next point, don't doubt about their expertise in technical decisions. They do not like it. They like to be appreciated as professionals. So let them, so respect them and greatly value their expertise in technical details and documentation. Also, when you deal with engineering team, you should communicate changes or priorities in your product roadmap or in different initiatives that you're working on, so they can give you some piece of advice whether it's really needed or not, especially when you are making some radical changes, or when business executives request some radical changes in the roadmap, so they can help you to scope the solution based on what they already developed and just deliver it as a piece of value within the product. And also, don't be shy and invite them to calls with users and customers. It's very good when they can observe what problems users and customers bring to you as a product manager, business analyst, and so they can also participate and ask their questions. And usually after such calls, they have a better understanding and they have more empathy towards users of your product. What you should avoid. Don't ignore different technical constraints or limitations which they may bring to you. So if you encounter some problems or some limitations which cannot be bypassed, it's very good to have a session with business executives or with a team who proposed these changes, so you can discuss how it can be addressed. So the engineering team will not spend nights thinking how to solve this or that problem. Usually there are no problems that can be solved, but some problems may require a lot of time and resources to be solved. That's why you should be tech savvy and you should respect it when working with engineering team. Don't try to micromanage the engineering team. Help them to deliver things, help them to answer their questions, but let them do what they can do. Of course, take a look at the progress, but don't micromanage them. When working with the engineering team, it's very good to discuss with them different deadlines, milestones, because, for example, if a sales team or customer success team requires some changes that should be made within the nearest week, but these changes require a month of development, you should discuss this first with the engineering team before bringing, let's say, before saying yes to these initiatives from the sales or customer success team. Also, do not exclude them from discussions of user pain points, as this will give them more information about the context of operation, and they can also bring their own ideas to these problems, like having the look from the side on this. Going next to external stakeholders, here we usually have users. These are people who interact with your product to achieve their goals, and let's say their satisfaction directly impacts product success. Talking about traits and characteristics, they are usually outcome focused, so they use your product to achieve some results and or to accomplish some jobs, if we are talking about jobs to be done in production. They also like to provide feedback, but not every user. In B2B, you may have problems that B2B users, they are not very eager to provide feedback. But you can also build sufficient channels for this feedback provision. And users, they also focus on value. If they see that your product doesn't deliver any value, they will stop using it immediately. So you as a product manager or business analyst should keep it in mind, and you should tailor your product to this quick delivery of value, so users can have this aha moment and continue using your product. And of course, it's why it's necessary to mention that users may have different needs and preferences. So for you, it's very good to have some sort of segmentation of users. And based on this segmentation, you can further understand what jobs they want to accomplish and what needs they have within your product. Talking about examples, it can be trial users, paid users. Anyway, you can also add a BCDX segmentation for users. And so depending on this, you can classify your users of your product. What you should do when working with users: don't forget to run different usability testing and gather as much feedback as possible. These people who use your product, they can give you very valuable insights into the processes that they try to automate or accomplish with your product. They can also give you a lot of feedback regarding let's say problems, UX issues that they encounter while working with your product. And based on this information, you can greatly refine your product and deliver what they really anticipate. Also, don't forget to respond to bugs and feature requests which they bring to you, especially when you don't have customer success team and you only have support engineers. So you as a business analyst or product manager can also participate during some support calls and get more information on the issues that persist within your product. Then talking to users, don't forget to inform them about upcoming features, because in some situations it may help you to keep subscriptions to your product when users, let's say, consider other competitor products to address their needs. Also, try to balance needs of different user segments, because in general, paid users or trial users, they may have completely different scope of features which they plan to see, and the same regarding the ABCDX segmentation. When working with users, try to deliver a smooth experience to them. Don't overcomplicate them with necessary options. Don't add a lot of unnecessary features. Try to keep your product as simple as possible. Also, don't ignore feedback coming, and don't overpromise features or timelines if you're not sure about them. So you will not ruin the expectations, and you will have a bit of time to deliver what they really expect, or at least to plan the delivery of these things. And never try to postpone resolution of recurrent and critical issues, as such problems can cause a lot of churned users, and which may also lead to churned customers of your product. The next segment is customers. Comparing to B2B, in B2B, customers and users, this may be different people. In B2C, usually it will be the same person. So when talking about customers, these are people or decision makers responsible for purchasing your product. Their satisfaction ensures retention and revenue growth. Talking about their traits and characteristics, you should remember that they're business-oriented and they focus on return on investment. So they want, besides value, they want some time or money gains. So they want to increase their profits by using your product, or they want to decrease time required to do or accomplish some things which will result in saving money. In B2B, customers may also be relationship driven. So you may have a different relationship connections to whom you can try to sell your product. That is why in B2B it will be can be one of your strategy to build relationships with potential customers and then sell your products. And customers can also become your strategic partners, so they can help you with scoping roadmaps, scoping releases, or helping to answer some questions like why they are buying the product. Talking about examples, it can be B2C customers, B2B, or B2G customers. In case of B2B, let's say relationship-driven, or is one of the traits and characteristics which you will have to work with. Talking about those, what you should do. Try to perform regular check-ins to discuss what they expect from your product, whether there is anything, how you can deliver more value, how you can optimize your product, how you can accelerate their workflows, or what automations you can deliver to them. Also, try to capture some sort of success stories or case studies, or try to work with them on recommendations so they can act as a word of mouth for your product. Also, try to share different insights how they can maximize return on investment from your product. And don't forget to address their concerns promptly and transparently so they will not be dissatisfied with your product. Talking about don'ts, try to keep an eye on all the problems that they bring, because these people pay money to you or they subscribe to your product, and when you will be ignoring their problems, they at first they will be dissatisfied, and at the end they will decide to leave your product and switch to something else. Then also try to communicate to them how they can increase value and how they can earn more money or save more time with your product. Also, don't forget about opportunities for upselling or cross-selling, and don't forget to pay for their loyalty with some discounts or with some appreciation or something like this. So they should be also feel valued. The next and the last segment here is partners. So these are usually some sort of organizations or individuals that collaborate with you for mutual benefit and who help you to deliver better results or expand to new markets. When we're talking about traits and characteristics, one of them is cooperative. So they like to collaborate a lot and they see value in this collaboration. So you should be also focused on this collaboration and help them build either new products or build different marketing campaigns together. So they also have their own interest in this. They're also goal aligned, so you cannot just come to them and say, let's just have a partnership, because they should see some value in this partnership, and that's why you should have it in advance. Also, when working with partners, you should have understanding of the success that both parties want to achieve. That's why don't forget to discuss this in advance before signing any partnerships. And they're also revenue oriented. It's not a secret that partners like to earn money on different partnerships. So keep it in mind. You as a partner should also don't forget about your own revenue, and there is no much sense in partnerships that do not deliver anything to you. Talking about examples, it can be service and product suppliers, technology partners, content and marketing partners, resellers, or government or regulatory partners. What you should consider when working with partners. So you should first of all define clear roles and responsibilities. So every party should understand what is expected, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, how they can get help from you in addressing their problems, and how you can get help from them in addressing their problems. Also, try to have honest communication with them. So if you have some financial goals, don't let's say be shy, don't skip informing them of your goals, so they can also understand whether they will be able to help you to achieve these goals. Also, it's very good when you have shared goals and objectives, because if you have different goals and objectives, it will be very difficult for you to have a real partnership. And in most situations, someone within this partnership will be using another partner, so it will be not very good for you or for them. And also use the data-driven approach for decision making. So when you see that there are no results, or results are not have enough evidence, or there is not enough data proving that this decision is fine, so try to discuss with them, collaborate, and align maybe on new priorities or new objectives which can help you to achieve initial results which you want. Don't try to micromanage partners and control them. Just try to collaborate. And one important note, if you see that they have some problems in execution, it should be a red flag to you. So don't be shy. Try to discuss it with them. Maybe they have some problems. Maybe they have some difficulties in implementation or execution, so you can help them. Or you may provide some sort of guidance in some areas or spheres. So try to keep an eye on the execution process, because if you see that the partner is doing nothing but he expects some results, you should understand that you will not get these results, and it will be a problem for you at first. You also shouldn't be very selfish, and you shouldn't focus on your own interests. That's the essence of partnership, when both parties receive value, and you as a business analyst or product manager should keep it in mind. And also don't try to be very flexible and adaptable in partnerships. So if let's say you will receive new information from the market, or you receive new signs, or you see some new opportunities, try to adapt to them and try to deliver much and try to achieve much greater results together with your within your partnership. Now let's go to the typical collaboration issues which you may see in a product company. So here I have six problems. Some of them, in some companies, you may see a combination of them. In some, you may see just specific items, but let's just see what we have here. The first issue in collaboration is a misalignment on product goals between teams. The next one is improper prioritization of requests from different teams. In some situations, there may be no communication or no effective communication between teams on product. When working with users and customers, you may see that customer success team or sales team, they do not dive into real customer and user problems. Or you may see a problem with a poor knowledge of the product and its capabilities, or different groups may have different motivations. That is why you should keep it in mind. So going to the first problem, it's misalignment on product goals between teams. If we're talking about symptoms, you can see that there are conflicting priorities between departments. So sales team wants one thing and customer success team wants another thing. Business executives, they expect other changes, and for you as a product manager, business analyst, it will be very difficult to align and deliver everything what these stakeholder groups expect. That's why you should be very careful with that and address such problems in advance. Also, you may see some frustration and inefficiency in communication. Usually, there will be delays in delivery, and let's say different groups, they will not have the common understanding of what the company wants to achieve. That's why you should also work on this. How you can address such problems? First of all, is to perform some regular meetings with all the involved stakeholders. It's very good to take some team leads from each team or department and have regular meetings with them, just to align on all the objectives and problems that this or that team has. So you can, so everyone can fully understand what challenges the challenges your company has at the moment, and how you collectively can address these challenges and what you can deliver to address these challenges. Also, it's very good to have some sort of product vision and product strategy, so everyone, every team or every department will adhere to them. In situations when you do not have this strategy, it's very good to write it in advance before starting any initiatives. Also, you can try to implement OKR. In this case, you will try to decompose the company goals into department goals and further into team goals. So every team will understand why this is necessary, and they will have measurable results which they should achieve. Also, don't forget to have some product demos, and don't forget to demonstrate progress on initiatives that's going on. So in some situations, you may correct these initiatives based on the feedback from different stakeholder groups if they see some inefficiency or problems in the execution. The next problem is improper prioritization of requests from different teams. So talking about symptoms, there can be interruptions and distractions, as you may receive different competing demands from different teams. Also, you may see difficulties in understanding what can deliver more value, what is more impactful, and you may also work on some irrelevant features without any value or with low values. That's why you may receive something, and you may deliver some new features, but let's say your users and customers, they are not using it, or they consider them as not really giving value to them. That's why this is one of the symptoms. Talking about the solutions, it's very good to introduce some sort of prioritization frameworks, which you can use. There are a lot of them, so it's up to you to choose which one to introduce within your company, but it will help everyone to have a common understanding of why this thing is prioritized over another thing. Also try to collect as many data as possible for making the right decision, so everyone from different stakeholder groups can understand why this decision was made. Having shared prioritization meetings will help to get feedback from each team to understand why they consider this or that thing as a priority, and also to understand how you can compromise on all these priorities and deliver something what will greatly impact the revenue for your product or for the company. The next problem is no communication between teams. Unfortunately, this problem happens. In some problems, there can be no communication between departments if the company is very large. Usually, when we talk about symptoms of this, it will be that one team doesn't understand what another team is working on, or they do not understand the progress on the things which they are working on, or something else. Also, there can be situations when different teams are working on different on similar things, or on things that cannot be connected together due to inconsistency in the APIs or features or something like this, or you introduce a new feature, but it is blocked by another feature which will be delivered in a couple of months. And this miscommunication and misunderstandings, they lead to different delays in deliveries and errors in released increments. Regarding solutions which you can implement, it's of course to perform regular team meetings where different team leads can share their updates, can share their problems and issues and challenges, and during these sessions you can elaborate a single understanding of what is needed and in what order. Also try to have some sort of a centralized communication channel where you can have different team leads who will be further distributing this information to their colleagues, and also try to have different workshops between different teams just to make them working as a single entity and not just as separate departments. It's also very good to have supporting documentation and knowledge sharing sessions within your organization, and also try to foster the culture of open communication. So everyone will not be shy, will not be afraid to ask their questions, and if they see a problem, they will know who can answer who can give answers or who can provide with a solution to this problem. The next problem is now diving into real customer and user problems. In some situations, you may see symptoms like building features instead of solving customer problems. This usually happens when the sales team brings potential features from their leads that they have been working with, or features that make deal closing impossible, something like that. And in some cases, customer success team also bring problems irrelevant, or they can be so small that these problems really have no impact on growing your product or growing the revenue. And that is why you should be quite careful and sort out only the important things and avoid, let's say, low priority things. Another problem that you may deliver solutions that your customers consider as not valuable. And in these cases, usually happens when you, as a product manager, business analyst, you do not have conversations with real users and customers, and you do not fully understand what they try to accomplish and what they expect to see within your product. So the more features you release, the less value they see. So here, it's very good to focus on customer problems. So when working with the sales teams or customer success team, try to dive into the real customer problem rather than the solutions or ideas or features that they bring to you. Also try to understand the root causes of the problems that happen, so you can consider them when designing impactful solutions. Also, you can also run different customer interviews, custom sessions, just to design a customer journey map. If you are creating a customer journey map without running any interviews, you can just forget about this customer journey map, because it will not reflect the actual reality, and what you are doing, you're just wasting your time. Also, try to involve customers in the problem solving process. They will greatly like it, and they will become your product advocates, and they will be spreading the knowledge and information about your product in social networks. The next problem is a poor knowledge of the product and its capabilities. Again, you may encounter it with the sales and customer success team. Sometimes engineering team may not fully understand how the product works, but they may understand how a part or component of the product works, but they may not fully understand how the product as a whole operates and what cross dependencies and interdependencies it has, especially when we talk about complex products. And from symptoms, it may look like your customer success team may not provide adequate support to customers, or your sales team doesn't fully understand how this is a feature work together, or what values this feature can deliver. Another thing to consider, it can be gaps in product architecture and feature scope. So you might have some sort of scalability issues. You might have problems with features that do not work together, or features that block each other, or features that were partially implemented and they cannot, let's say, properly automate the flow for the end user. So working with this, you should provide product training to all the teams and departments that work on specific product parts, and you should also identify gaps in their knowledge. So you should be able to see what kind of training they need. Also, having internal documentation and resources for knowledge sharing is very essential, because when you have subject matter experts, they may not have enough time to spend on explaining a specific component, a specific feature, or business logic. That's why this product documentation can help everyone to understand the specifics of each feature, its interdependencies, and how to properly integrate with it. Then also, it's very good to have shared product demos and reviews, so everyone can see the progress, what new features are introduced, what features are deferred and deprecated. And also don't forget to foster a culture of continuous learning, so everyone within the team or within the product companies understands that they need to understand the product, to know it, because without this knowledge, it will be difficult to deliver real results. And the last problem here is different motivations of different stakeholder groups. Unfortunately, this problem may persist. Let's say, talking about symptoms, it can be some sort of conflicting goals coming to different departments. It can be done intentionally and unintentionally, and sometimes business executives, they may have different expectations from results which each department must deliver, and they may not fully align on these expectations and goals. That is why, let's say, the sales team may be trying to close more deals without thinking about the product team or engineering team, that they will not be able to fully deliver everything what the sales team wants to achieve. Also, there may be some sort of competition between teams or departments, and even some hidden wars between departments. Also, you may see some sort of frustration or resentment among stakeholders when people think that there is not much sense in delivering this or that, when their features or initiatives are just ignored or descoped or deprioritized. So this just creates additional level of frustration for them. So here, while working with the stakeholders, you as a business analyst or product manager, you should consider different stakeholder groups, what they can do, what are their responsibilities, what are their powers, and who they can influence. Also try to have some shared workshops and meetings, so every stakeholder group has a representative who can participate in these workshops, and they can get a better understanding of why you're doing this or that thing, and you can build shared understanding and consensus towards the initiatives. Also, try to have the open and honest communication, so everyone can come to any, so you or anybody else can come to any stakeholder, share their concerns, share their ideas, and they will not be just rejected or said no. That is why try to foster this collaborative culture within the company, and don't forget to use data and insights for decision making, just to ensure that you are building great things, not just based on your intuition, but based on some sort of evidence that you have already collected. So you should remember that collaboration within a product company must be transparent, effective, and trustworthy, because the product success heavily depends on these things. So from my side, that's all. Now it's time for Q&A session. So if you have questions, let's just go through them while I will be trying to answer questions. So please leave your feedback by using this QR code. So okay, so we have a question. If your major stakeholders, product owner, product designer, don't understand the goal of their product, what communication strategy to take? Okay, so it's very strange that product owner, product designer don't understand the goal of your product. Usually in this case, while communicating with them, you may focus the attention on running more customer interviews. You as a business analyst can also participate in these user interviews, so you can get more details on what users need. Regarding the communication with them, it's a very tricky situation, because you cannot say that you are not competent or something like that. We should be quite careful, first of all, and try to ask questions try to challenge them with these questions, and I hope that after some time they will start collaborating more with end users. Unfortunately, in B2B, not everyone is ready to talk with you if we're talking about users and customers, and it may take a while before you establish these feedback loops, feedback channels with the users and customers. Maybe this is that situation. In general, if we're talking about the product managers, they should have some sort of product strategy and understanding why they are evolving and developing the product in this or that direction. That's why, let's say, be very careful, because communicating such things may be not very pleasurable to them. So try to negotiate these problems that you do not fully understand what the product should do, in what cases it should behave in this way. That's why, let's say, try to negotiate. Don't be very, let's say, concise, and don't say and don't blame them for not knowing some things. It may happen that sometimes you need a bit of time just to get understanding. Okay, question number one. Question number two: how to escape the conflict? Urgent feature for lead customers, planned important product updates. Of course, resources are limited. So let's say when you have situations that you have a large customer and you have already some features in your product roadmap, it just depends on you as a business analyst or product manager how you will behave in this situation. So in general, there are different ways how you can accomplish. If this customer, let's say, brings you 50% of revenue for your company, it may happen. I assume that in this case, you will have to postpone implementation of your product roadmap and switch to the product feature which this customer wants. In situations when, let's say, this customer doesn't bring you the half of your revenue and you have a lot of other customers who just pay you the same amounts of money, you can try to explore again the segment and see whether this problem also impacts these high-paid customers and ensure that, let's say, they also want this feature. In situations when only one customer wants, you should be very careful. So usually that's a bad practice to prioritize a request of one high-paid customer over the product roadmap, but again, depends on the situation. What else you should consider? You can try to collect additional evidence. You can also consider other customer segments to check whether they may also need this or that feature. And only after this, you can make a decision. Anyway, you will need to spend a bit of time. So doing this in an urgent manner may have a negative impact in general on the delivery process of new features. That's why be very careful. Yeah, resources are always limited. You cannot build everything what your customers want. That's why, as a product manager, you should either have a prioritization technique, which everyone in the company agrees with, or you should have enough sort of arguments and explanations that we will not be delivering this, or we will be delivering this because, let's say, it's a customer who brings half of our revenue. Any other comments? Okay, if there are no more comments, don't forget, please, to leave your feedback so we can understand whether you like to know the topic which I was talking about, or if you have some ideas of what you want to know about, feel free also to drop these ideas into the feedback that you will give. Looks like no more questions. So thanks everyone for joining this webinar. I hope now you will have more information how to manage different stakeholder groups and collaborate with them. And see you next time. Have a nice day.